Hello, good morning. Welcome to Better Life. I'm Dr. Ayo Akinshete. Today, we are going to continue with the subject we started yesterday, how to marry without getting into debt. How to marry without getting into debt. Now, this phenomenon has become something that is commonplace today. You can hardly meet any new couple that didn't get into debt, except for those who have very rich parents or the big boys around who have enough money to throw around. If you gather 10 new couples, you can hardly pick one or two that are not indebted because of wedding. Now, I am not saying don't borrow for a wedding. No. There are times you may need to borrow a little. But what I'm saying is don't borrow what will put your marriage under pressure. Don't borrow what will seize your peace after the wedding. Now, let me give an example this morning of this gentleman whose name was Jamal. Jamal got married and got a loan from his office. And friends, since the wife to be was also working, they had planned that they would be paying back and still be able to manage the home front. They had the wedding of their dreams, and immediately after the wedding, the wife lost her job because her office downsized. All the debt repayment fell on Jamal's salary. It was like 90% of his income was going for loan repayment. All hope for a fair life disappeared. At a point, he had to move back to his parents' house, where he lived as a bachelor before renting a place shortly before the wedding for himself and his new bride. A lot happened between his wife and his mom while they were living at his parents' place. The mom and the wife were always at loggerheads. Things went haywire. A lot of things turned upside down. The young lady couldn't leave because her parents lived about 10 hours away. She couldn't leave. And there was nobody she could go to, so she had to endure. She had to endure the mother-in-law. Now, I can't blame the mother-in-law because I wouldn't know so many details about that. But you see, it was hell for them. She was pregnant. She had to stay there. And then they lived in that house for over 2 years. Over 2 years before luck smiled on them. Now, if there was no debt, all of that would not have happened. Believe me, if you can have your wedding with minimum debt or with no debt at all, you will be helping yourself. You will be helping yourself. Believe me, time will not permit me to show you more and more stories of people who have been through a lot. Now, let's read the testimony a young man sent to me. He said, I want to thank God for your life, sir. I am a beneficiary of your teachings. When I got married, I gave the caterer the money I had, and I told her to turn it to food. I told the servers to manage the food and stop wherever the food finished. I doubt if the food was able to serve half the crowd. In fact, my father didn't get food on the day of my wedding. I made up my mind to do my best without piling problems for myself in the future because of one day's event. Today, sir, I have 3 children and my family is doing fine. We don't look like what we have been through. Thank you for your workable and usable teachings over the years. Now, I have read that to let you know that what is getting you scared will come and pass. Oh, what will people say? Oh, they will be looking at me one kind. It will come and pass. It will surprise you that 2-3 days after your wedding, nobody remembers what happened there. Whether food was surplus or in shortage, nobody remembers. Whether you wore the best or what was not too good, they may talk about you that day, talk about you the following day. After that, they have forgotten about you. So don't kill yourself because of people. Don't kill yourself because of people. Now, why should you not get into debt because of wedding? I gave you 2 reasons yesterday, and then we pick it up from there today. Why you should not get into debt because of wedding. You must plan your wedding and ensure you plan debt out of it. It will be insanity to plan a ceremony and not plan what will happen after the ceremony. This is what leads to debt most of the time. You must be deliberate in your planning if you don't want debt after your wedding. Psalm 112 and verse 5. Psalm 112 and verse 5. A good man showeth favor and lends. He will guide his affairs with discretion. A good man will guide his affairs with discretion. Your affairs must be guided by discretion. Discretion means carefulness. Whatever you want to do, you need to consider and reconsider the advantages and the eventualities. Consider and reconsider. Don't just get into debt anyhow. Ask yourself, this 1 million loan I want to get, how will I pay back? What may be the impact if I lose my job? Now, my wife is working to get a job. What will happen if she does not get the job? You need to ask yourself questions and find out what may happen and then be able to decide whether to take it or not take it. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 10. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 10. I want to read this in 3 versions so that we can understand. The Message Bible. Remember, the dollar the axe, the harder the work. The dollar the axe, the harder the work. Use your head. The more brains, the less muscles. The more brains, the less muscles. That's the Message Bible. King James Version. If the iron be blunt and you do not sharpen it, then must he put to more strength. But wisdom is profitable to direct. That is, if you don't use your brain, you are going to exert excess effort. If you don't use your brain, you are going to exert excess effort. Let's read Good News Translation. If your axe is dull and you don't sharpen it, you have to work harder to use it. It is smarter to plan ahead. Using your head means plan ahead. And that's the essence of this entire message. Plan ahead. Wise men solve tomorrow's problems today. Plan ahead. Now the reasons. Number 1, I mentioned yesterday, to have peace after wedding and not be tensed. Yeah, that's why you should not get into debt. And number 2, to avoid getting angry unnecessarily with your spouse. And number 3, to avoid financial pressure in your new home. If you don't want financial pressure in your new home, don't get into debt because of your wedding. If you have to use the better part of your income for payback of debt after wedding, it will affect your new home. That I know like I know my name. Every new home will come through its own peculiar challenges, but to add unnecessary challenges to the ones that are ready-made, that will come certainly, is foolishness. Let me say one more time. If you are going to marry, when you marry, you are going to have peculiar challenges. After your honeymoon, a lot of things are going to crop up, a lot of challenges, things you didn't expect, shocks that come to new couples. You will see things that your partner does that you never believe he or she could ever do. A lot of shocks are going to come. So you are going to have a lot of time to blend. Iron will sharpen iron. Iron filings will fall off. You are going to have a lot of shocks. And that is enough for a young couple. If you now bring financial burden from debt accumulation because of your wedding to add up to that, believe me, it's like setting up your marriage for undue pressure. For undue pressure. Number 4, why you shouldn't get into debt because of your wedding. Number 4, to avoid early begging for assistance from friends and loved ones. To avoid early begging for assistance from friends and loved ones. You will start losing your honor as a couple when you start begging people to survive. Whatever will make you broke after wedding, you must frown at it. Knock out as many things as possible to ensure you won't have to beg anyone for support or assistance after your wedding. It is stupidity to have a wedding that people will applaud, that will make you cry when you get home after the wedding. You will smile outside like the happening champion and then slip into depression when you get back home after the wedding. Pleasing others and displeasing yourself reveals you have low self-esteem. Have a wedding that will not take your breath away when the crowd is gone. That's wisdom. Have a wedding that will not take your breath away when the crowd is gone. Don't please people and displease yourself. Public applause with secret depression will end up reducing your lifespan. I'm going to say that one more time. Public applause with secret depression will end up reducing your lifespan. Don't please anybody. Spend only what you have. If you are going to get a loan, let it be minimal. It's unfortunate that our generation is a slave of what will people say. What will people say? And for all you may care, no matter how much you spend, they will still talk. They will talk ill of you. I would rather have my wedding simple and enjoy peace thereafter without public ovation than have people talk well of my wedding while I suffer depression in secret. There's no point. Number 5, why you shouldn't get into debt because of wedding. Number 5, to be able to use your money gift for saving. I'm particular about money gift here. People are going to give you money envelopes here and there. People from your church, people from your office and all of that. That's a good way to start saving for your family. That's a good way to start saving up money for your first child. But the moment you have debt accumulated everywhere, all of the money gift you are going to collect, you will use most of, if not all of them, to service debt. Let's be wise. Let's be wise. Let's be wise. Number 6, to avoid laying foundation for separation and divorce. To avoid laying foundation for separation and divorce. Some new couples started their journey to divorce from the pressures that wedding debt brought into their marriage. That is, from the beginning of the marriage, they were heading for divorce. Because the marriage started with pressure. The marriage started with debt. The marriage started with argument, and all of this, the pressure, the argument, all of that came from wedding debt. Wedding debt. There are problems that wedding debt can induce that will cause couples to get angry with themselves, to utter statements that their partner will never forget for life. And then little by little, your marriage that is less than a year, less than 6 months, less than 2 months, less than 1 month is already under pressure. Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 11. Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 11. Discretion shall preserve you. Understanding shall keep you. Discretion shall preserve you. Understanding shall keep you. Discretion means carefulness. Don't set the family you have not built on fire. You have not even spent 1 day as a couple, and already the family is under pressure. Run from debt as much as possible. A word, they say, is enough for the wise. A word is enough for the wise. Let discretion guide you. Let discretion guide you. And number 7, and the last one for today. Why you shouldn't get into debt because of wedding? To ensure you don't give room to the devil in your marriage. To ensure you don't give room to the devil in your marriage. Satan hates marriage. Satan hates family. Because that is God's institution. He will do anything and everything to ensure there is no peace if you allow him. You will complicate matters for yourself if you are the devil deflating the peace of your home. Particularly the home you are just about to build. You are already building debt before building the home. You are already accumulating debt for your new family before even raising the family. You would have given the devil ammunition to bring down your marriage that way. Don't do it. Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 27. It says, neither give place to the devil. Neither give place to the devil. When you accumulate debt from your wedding or because of your wedding, you will put your family under pressure and you will give the devil space. Yeah. You will give the devil space. And that space, with any little space you give Satan, is enough. He can work from there to bring your family down. Debt is like fibroid. It will let the baby grow in the womb. It will stop conception in the womb, but it will choke the life out of the baby trying to form in the womb. And ultimately, it will abort the baby. That's exactly what you are doing when you are building undue debt for a new family. Your family won't grow. That debt will shock your family and shock the life out of the new family. That's what you are doing. Debt accumulated from wedding can choke the life out of new couples. Choke the life out of them. It will affect your bonding. It will stop the enjoyment in the family. It will stop your relaxation. The family that should be, full of, that should be bubbly and full of joy will be full of tension. Because of debt. Give yourself some breathing space, my brother and sister, by planning debt out of your wedding and marriage. Our generation must adopt debt-free wedding as a lifestyle. Believe me, it must become a lifestyle. It must become the norm. It must be on the lips and in the heart of everyone. Parents must believe in that vision, and the youths getting married must flow with that vision. That way, family meetings before wedding will be about what do we have? And how can we manage what we have? From the groom side, from the bride side, everybody is focusing on what do we have? How can we manage what we have? And then everyone can plan from what is available. This will make some parents live longer and give peace to many newlyweds. I'm going to stop here for today. And it's my prayer that the little you have had will be a blessing to you. But please, if you need someone to pray for you or pray with you, we are always here. The number to call or send SMS to is 070 56 66 76 86. One more time, 070 56 66 76 86. I love you, and I'll see you again.